G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And in front of me here I have two 2010 BMW Z4 E89s, but my one has the 2.5 litre naturally aspirated straight 6 and this one has the 3 litre twin turbocharged straight 6. And we're going to be seeing if it's worth spending the extra on the N54 over the little N52. In terms of exterior styling, both of these cars look absolutely fantastic with the roof up or with the roof down. In the case of this car, it has an M Sport bumper and also has Z4M wheels off the previous generation, the E86 Coupe, and overall I just think it looks so much better than my one. The bumper is the main thing that improves it, I reckon, and then the larger 18-inch wheels just give it such a beautiful stance. And another subtle difference between the 23 and the 35 is that round back this has big chunky twin exhausts, whereas my one has twin exhausts just on the one side. The engines that you can see under the bonnet of these two Z4s look quite similar on the outside, but really they are in completely different leagues. The engine in my car is an N52 B25, but because this is the 23i, they never made a 25i of this shape, it is slightly detuned to 150 kilowatt and 250 newton meters. It's paired up with a 6-speed ZF automatic and is obviously rear-wheel drive. The engine under the bonnet of the 35i, however, is an N54 B30, which is a 3 litre, so a bit bigger than this, still a straight 6, but it has 2 little turbochargers strapped to it. And from factory, it makes 225 kilowatts, so 75 more than this, and 400 newton meters, which is 150 more than this. So this is definitely significantly more of a powerhouse than the little N52 over here. The interiors of these cars are really rather similar, if I'm honest, as you would expect. The steering wheels are identical on them, the layout of all of the switchgear behind it, the light switches, the gauges are identical, all of the climate control and the radio controls down here are exactly the same. The way the iDrive works is basically identical, although in the case of mine it has a reversing camera but doesn't have Bluetooth, whereas this has Bluetooth and no reversing camera but has parking sensors, so there's some subtle differences in spec there. And of course this one has leather with electric seats as well, which is really nice, whereas my one just has the manual cloth seats, but thankfully both have heated seats, which is very nice. The other slight difference on the interior front here is that this one has BMW's newer shift knob assembly, where it sort of stays in the middle the whole time and just shows you where it is with the little lights on here, whereas my one moves to where the position of the gear is, as you would expect. But the great thing about both of them is that they both have electric hardtops. They're very easy to put up and down, they're extremely comfortable, the driving position is great, visibility is excellent, and they just feel like such cool cars to sit inside them. This thing is a lot of fun. Maybe a little bit too much fun, actually. Oh, the turbo noises are amazing. It's the same car, but they put a different engine in it, and it sounds that much better. It has a way more raspy and gritty exhaust sound. Oh, yes. All right, let's see if we can give it a little bit of beans here, eh? It handles so well, steering feel is excellent. Just listen, if I can get a chance to put my foot down a bit here, listen to the sound. Oh, it sounds so good. And this is a lot faster than mine, man. Oh my goodness. This is one of the fastest cars I've driven over there, 100%. But the thing with it is that it's not scary. It's just a good amount of power, you know? Foot down. Really quick shifts. It just has a multi-personality, you know, where it can be really snappy to shift, like literally just wham, bam, you into the back of your seat. But then you put it in normal mode and poodle around in D, and the thing is as smooth as anything. But it rev matches downshifts, it's really quick to respond. It's literally shifting so hard that it's actually hitting traction control between gear changes. So much better than my car, honestly. Like infinitesimally better. Immediate response. it's fast, so good. And anyone who says that BMW doesn't know how to make a sports car, they don't know what they're talking about. You need to drive one of these. Oh yes. It takes my car, which in itself is really fun to drive, and then adds the torque that it just so desperately needs, and the slightly more raspy and interesting exhaust note, and the slightly more snappy transmission, and it is a masterpiece. Driving the 23i, first thing you notice, exhaust is a bit quieter, it rides a little bit better because it has slightly smaller wheels with a slightly fatter tyre on them. The transmission definitely isn't quite as snappy. The main disadvantages with this engine is the torque, and the way the transmission works is not as good. In the 35, you get the quick shifts all the time, and if you turn traction control all the way off, it stays in sport mode effectively. Whereas with this, for some idiotic reason, when you put it in DSC off mode, it takes it out of sport mode. So you lose the quick throttle response and you lose the snappy shifts, which is really frustrating. And while it'll still go sideways, it's just not quite as good, And really just in every other regard, the 35i is just so much better. It's more willing to go sideways. It has way more torque, so you don't have to sort of wring the engine out to make it go anywhere. The transmission performance is definitely even better than this. In this car, it's really good, but in the 35i, it is definitely better. I think the only areas where I can really see this thing being a little bit better is it rides slightly less firm. It will probably get marginally better fuel consumption, but other than that, the 35i is a fantastic, like a really, really good car, and it's absolutely worth the extra. But this is a bit of fun too. While the engine doesn't sound quite as exotic and doesn't make anywhere near as much torque, it's still fun. And given I didn't pay very much for this, I'm okay with that. You've got the wind in your hair, lovely straight six exhaust note. Both of these cars, man, really are a hang of a lot of fun. Check it's all clear, foot down.